Hello everybody, today we're doing a video for GTA Car Kits in the 2014 Honda Civic, and today we're going to be showing you how to install this Android stereo. This stereo features a modern IPS display, and as you can see it's a huge upgrade over the original stereo. You're still able to do radio and Bluetooth music like the original stereo, but then you have access to online store through if you connect the stereo to a Wi-Fi hotspot, so then you can do Google Maps, Waze, and so on. The stereo also supports Apple CarPlay and Android Auto through the optional CarPlay module. Your steering wheel controls still work. We also installed a rear view camera for this particular car. As you can see here, it's a very big display and a very good feature to have. You can also add the optional lines to help you guide while you're parking. And now we're going to demonstrate how Android Auto works and Apple CarPlay. So first we're going to connect to our iPhone. We're going to go to apps. We're going to go to the AutoPlay app. As you see here, this is the standard Apple CarPlay, so you're able to do your music, phone calls, and apps like TuneIn, and again Waze and Google Maps. Now we're going to connect to our Android phone. So this is the standard Android Auto, so again you can do music, phone calls, and whichever navigation map you have set there. And we have a separate video on how to use this particular unit, but now we're going to show you how to install it in this 2014 Honda Civic. So the tools that you're going to need to install the Android stereo is a 8mm socket with an extension, as you can see here, flathead screwdriver, Phillips screwdriver, some sort of panel removal tool, and these are cutting pliers. So first thing we're going to do, we're going to use our Phillips and flathead screwdrivers. So we're going to put the car in, so make sure to not lose this small piece. We're going to raise our handbrake. We're going to put the shifter all the way down so we have room here. Next thing, we're going to use our Phillips screwdriver, and there's two screws here, one over here and one here. So we're going to go ahead and remove them. So now that you remove these two bolts, now there's two bolts holding the radio underneath, and you can use a Phillips screwdriver, but we suggest to use our 8mm socket with an extension. So you're going to see there's one right there closer to the passenger and one right there closer to the driver. So we're going to go ahead and remove them right now. So this is what the bolts underneath the radio look like. Like I said, it's better to use a 8mm socket because this Phillips is very easy to strip and it's a hard angle. So just to be safe, use a 8mm socket with an extension. Now that we removed everything holding the radio, we're gonna remove the actual radio. So as you see, it comes out easy, except for there's some clips right here. And now the radio comes out. So there's one connection right here. This is for the hazard switch. So you just press on this clip, it comes off. There's connection at the bottom for the heater controls. And right here, you're gonna see on the top all these connections. So you're gonna use a flathead screwdriver to press on the clips. This clip is a little tricky, so you press it down on this part and then move it out, just like that. And this one you have to press on the side. This is the antenna, just like that. And now the radio is ready to come out, so you have to kind of loop her around because it tends to catch on this metal bracket, so you have to lift it up. From this original stereo, we gotta transfer the vent, the hazard light, this heater control panel, and the bottom piece, and all the clips. So we're gonna go ahead and start removing these. So first thing we're gonna remove is heater controls. So there's 4 Phillips screws, so 2 here and 2 over on this side. So once the 4 bolts are removed, you simply tilt this panel and it comes off, so you have to tilt it from the bottom. And then we're going to transfer it to our Android stereo, so we're going to put it away for now. Now we're going to remove these 2 for the hazard switch. Once these 2 are removed, you can just remove the hazard switch. And again, we're going to transfer it to our Android stereo. Next up is this vent, so it's held on 3 screws. We're going to go ahead and remove them. So after removing the screws, the vent simply comes out. The next part is to remove this bottom piece, and it's held on 3 screws right here. We're going to go ahead and remove it. So there's 2 types of clips on this radio. There's metal ones on top we have to remove, and the plastic ones on the side. So there's 3 plastic ones and 3 metal ones. So we're gonna start with the plastic. I didn't mention these tools, but you can use something tiny like a small screwdriver, and you have to get underneath and undo one side, and then do the other, and it comes off. So it's held over here by these little teeth. So that's how you remove the plastic one. And then the metal one, you have to get underneath here. So to remove the metal clips, you have to get underneath and lift up this piece. This also has little teeth here for metal. You have to lift it up and then it will come off. So now we're gonna go ahead and remove the other ones. So this is our Android stereo, the back of the stereo. So first panel that we're gonna install is the bottom one. So it's simple, you just line it up, same with the original, and use the same screws that you took out. This one uses the smaller ones. So right here we installed the bottom piece. After this one you can install the heater controls. So it just clips in. I'm just gonna make sure that it lines up well. So after the heater controls, the next one we're gonna install is the hazard light, and it can only go on one way, and also our vent. So the vent on our Android stereo will be held by 1 screw right here. So now we're gonna go ahead and put these 3 together. So now that we installed these 4 things on the radio, now we're gonna install our clips. So on the sides here, it's the white ones, and they just clip on. There's one right here also. Then we have our metal clips, and we're going to be using 2 of them from the original radio, just like that. So once we installed all the clips and the components of this radio, now we have to modify right here the dashboard a little bit. So that's where we're gonna use our cutting pliers. So we're gonna cut from here all the way here, but it's not gonna be noticeable when you install our radio, or if you decide to install your original radio back. This piece will not be seen, and it doesn't really do anything. So we're gonna grab right here, just like that. And here we're gonna cut just like this. So once you're done the trimming on the side, you're just gonna make sure that everything fits. Here you're also gonna be putting the 2 bolts. So at this point, we're gonna take the radio out, and now we're gonna show you how to wire and connect everything in the back of the stereo. So this is the microphone and this is the GPS, and we're gonna wire them both over here in this top corner. So over here on the driver's side, first thing we're gonna do is remove this weather stripping. Not fully, just to the side, so you have this open space. Next thing we're gonna do is take our microphone and the GPS, and we're gonna kind of move them up and put them over there in the corner. The next step would be over here is to use our panel removal tool, and we're gonna remove this panel. At the same time, we're gonna drop this panel down. I think it's easier from here. Just like that. So now we're gonna take our two wires, make sure that they're not tangled, and we're gonna put them into this hole. And now we're gonna tuck them in and cover them by the weather stripping. And at this point you can reinstall this panel back. And make sure that all the wires are hidden behind, just like that. And now you have the two wires on the inside, and now we're gonna continue from the inside. So now on the inside, we're gonna pull this panel down so it's completely down. That will let us give us access to feed all these wires. So we're gonna hide all the wires behind this plastic. You just gotta catch it underneath with your fingers. You can hide it under the plastic of the steering wheel and kind of bring it up right here. And then we're gonna use our fingers and we're gonna catch these wires at the back of the radio. So the main point that you gotta get these cables to the back of the radio. So you see here, this is our GPS. We're gonna bring it to the back, and over here you have some extra wires, so to make things neat you can kind of tie it down with a cable tie, just over there. And now we're gonna pull the microphone cable. So now that we have our two cables at the back of the radio, you can put this panel back. So we're gonna start with the side closer to the passenger, and then the one closer to the door. And now this part is complete. So now we're gonna take our USB cables and we're gonna wire them to the glove box. So just simply open the glove box, take the cables, and you can leave them in the glove box for now. And also same thing, we're gonna keep them at the back of the stereo. So now we're gonna take the connections that came with our Android stereo, and we're gonna take our original connections, so we're just gonna match them up to what came, and they all will be plug and play, so you don't have to modify any of your original wiring. The smallest one is for the antenna. Just like that. So now we have, this is the connection that will go to the back of the radio. Same with the other ones, you just have to put them in the correct places. So now we're gonna take our Android stereo again, So this is where the GPS will go, the one we wired up there. This is for the Wi-Fi antenna here. So now we will take, this is the power harness, plug it in. Also gonna take our GPS that we wired. Also gonna take our USBs. The microphone goes right here. And also this car has a reverse camera installed, so we're gonna plug in the camera. So we're gonna take the camera, it has to go into the cam VIN for the camera. And of course you're gonna plug in the original connection, so this is for the heater controls and the hazard light. We're gonna do that right now. So you also have to plug in the antenna, so we'll go on this side right here, just like that. And now you gotta make sure that nothing is in the way. You gotta kind of drop all the wires at the back. Now we're gonna put the radio in. So now we're gonna put in the two bolts underneath, these ones. The ones that were way underneath the radio, those are not the same on the Android stereo, so you don't have to use them. We're just gonna put these two. So now we're gonna take this bottom piece, we're gonna connect our heated seats. I'm gonna clip them on. And here we're going to install the two screws that we removed earlier. So we're going to take our Phillips screwdriver. So the last part of the installation is of course to install this little piece and put the car in parking. So now we're going to turn the car to the accessory position to test the radio. We're also going to test reverse camera. So when the stereo loads for the first time, it takes a little bit of time, but then once you start driving it, there's a mode that the radio goes to auto sleep mode, and the radio will boot up instantly. So when you first turn on the radio, one of the first things you're going to do is test the sound and let's say radio reception. So you can go to radio and check that all the speakers are working. You can also go and pair your Bluetooth music. Also, if you look over there on that screen, so the car knows what happens, so it's gonna show you which radio station, and if you're doing the volume, it will also show there. And same with the Bluetooth music. Another thing is you're gonna test if you install the reverse camera, to make sure that works. And your steering wheel controls, same thing. As you can see here, I'm pressing the steering wheel controls and it's working. And again, this was a video for GTA Car Kits and a 2014 Honda Civic. I hope you liked the video, and we'll see you next time.